Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. I want to thank you for being with us. She was behind bars with Tot Mom. Tonight, we hear from Tot Mom's fellow inmate in her own words about Tot Mom's reaction the day she learns prosecutors do an about-face announcing they will seek the death penalty. And Tot Mom's former lawyer who argued against the death penalty with us live and taking your calls.
I saw them escort her. They flanked both sides. There was a correctional officer on both sides, and they walked beside her to the bed. She did sit there for a couple seconds. They continued to talk to her. She kept screaming, "I'm pissed, I'm pissed." She put her head down on the tables that were outside of in the common area where people could, if they wanted, or if the correctional officers decided they could, sit outside and perhaps have their lunch. It's just a metal table, concrete, fixed into the concrete, with 4 seats around that table. She had kneeled onto the seat to allow the correctional officers to release her leg cuffs. Then they removed her waist cuffs.
So Casey is now strapped to this bed. Mm-hmm. Is she covered in anything?
Covered with a sheet.
She was
to her
covered
chest. She kept screaming, "I'm pissed, I'm pissed." If she had been Satan, I would equate her look and her demeanor to that of someone very evil.
A fellow inmate of Tot Mom speaks. Many claim she was not there at the jail, but as a matter of fact, she was. Out to Mark Williams, anchor and reporter, joining us at the Orlando jailhouse. I believe you, Mark Williams, were one of the naysayers that said it couldn't be. The jail ruled her out. What did I tell you? Everybody in jail has about 15, 20 aliases. You can't count on one last name being definitive.
This person who appeared on Radar Online says her name is Terry Thomas, but she was booked into the Orange County Jail in April under the name of Terry Narcessian. She says she witnessed Casey Anthony literally go ballistic when she learned that the state had put the death penalty back on the table. You have a tape, of course, of that interview. She said Casey uttered a couple of words, many of them saying literally, and we're quoting, "I'm pissed." And she went on that rampage for a while. Narcessian said that corrections officers put her on a restraint bed and literally tied her down. However, Alan Moore, who's the public information officer here at the jail, says that never happened. The story is inconceivable because the incident just literally didn't happen.
Williams, is he the same? Is he the same guy that said the woman wasn't behind bars? Is he the same one that said she didn't exist?
Well, at that time, he had a line to tell, but I've known Alan Moore since the mid-90s. Alan Moore is a straight shooter. He has no reason to lie. This Narcessian woman came in under that name. She calls herself Terry Thomas, and if you take a look at the videotape and you take a look at the mugshot, it looks like 2 different people, Nancy.
Mark, can you just give me a yes or no? Is that jail spokesperson the same one that tried to tell us all this woman was not behind bars and she couldn't have been there at the same time as Tot Mom? Yes, no. That's all I'm asking.
I have the mugshot, Nancy. I also have what she did behind bars.
No. If you can't give it, that's fine. But I already know the answer is yes. The guy saying this couldn't have happened is the same one that said no, this woman was not behind bars with Tot Mom. Let's take a listen to the inmate.
She was visibly upset. I heard her scream, "I'm pissed, I'm pissed." This says she put her head down on the tables that were outside of in the common area where people could, if they wanted, or if the correctional officers decided they could, sit outside and perhaps have their lunch. It's just a metal table, concrete, or fixed into the concrete, with 4 seats around that table. She had kneeled onto the seat to allow the correctional officers to release her leg cuffs. Then they removed her waist cuffs, and she kept screaming, "I'm pissed, I'm pissed." I saw them escort her. They flanked both sides. There was a correctional officer on both sides, and they walked beside her to the bed. She did sit there for a couple seconds. They continued to talk to her. She was very clearly agitated, but not really aggressive. Apparently the nurse staff had been called. They're LPNs. They're not registered nurses. They were there also, I would imagine, just to ensure her safety. She was laid down on this leather, it was a leather bed per se, but the bed was concave, so it wasn't a bed as if you were going to sleep on it. And they strapped her down. There was a shrine, which was rather disturbing, of her daughter. There were pictures of both herself and her daughter on a makeshift poster board. I would imagine perhaps they were, it was constructed out of legal pads that could have been purchased and put together for a shrine. Multiple pictures that appeared to be personal pictures, but also those of perhaps magazine pictures. And what was most chilling for me is that there were flowers, not, of course, not natural flowers. There were pictures, paper machete type flowers that were made, but they were black in color, which I found very disturbing.
She is incredibly articulate. That is from RadarOnline.com. To our chief editorial producer, Ellie Jostad. Okay, can I only say freak, bizarre, a huge shrine to little Kelly decorated with black paper mache flowers?
Yeah, this woman says that she saw this shrine. It was some pictures that looked like personal pictures, other pictures that may have been cut out of magazines, but this is how she said Casey Anthony had decorated her cell.